it's my understanding that this chair and this is made of the same things of substance of energy. Maybe it vibrates at a different, or has a different density, or vibrates at a different level, but this is the same, this is the same. I'm sure that's right, that's my understanding. But one thing so the part that I'm cloudy on is that I've been in the room when someone's died, and so I'm seeing their body and we say it's alive, right? And then just within a second, we say it's not alive, and we use the word life. So I'm thinking, same thing with a deer. You see a deer on the side of the road, and you see a deer on the side of the road that's dead, and you go, it has life, this no longer has life. Or even a tree, as we were walking yesterday in the woods, a tree that bears fruit or flowers or green leaves, and then you see a tree that's felled, and we say that it's dead. It doesn't have life. This tree has life, that tree doesn't have life. So my question is the life here, if I pass tonight and they bury me in the ground, what leaves me, is that consciousness, or is that different? And if what leaves me is consciousness, is that the same in the deer? Is that the same in the tree?
No, consciousness doesn't leave you. The idea that consciousness leaves you presumes that you exist as a physical body and that consciousness is located inside you. When Jane dies on the streets of Paris, Mary's mind doesn't suddenly leave her. Mary's mind remains exactly as it always is, but it ceases to localize itself in the form of Jane. So what appears to be the death of Jane is in fact simply the unlocalizing of Mary's mind. Mary ceases localizing herself as Jane. In the dream, that appears as the death of Jane. In reality, just Mary ceases to localize herself as Jane's mind, but nothing happens to Mary. She doesn't die, she doesn't change.
Right. So in some ways I can say that my body actually, the physical body leaves me, or consciousness in a sense.
You could say as a concession to the belief in the existence of an independent physical body, you could say the physical body leaves you. Yeah. In other words, Jane's body leaves Mary's mind. When Jane dies, imagine that the dream were to continue. I'm stretching the metaphor a bit now. Imagine that the dream were to continue, but Jane was to die. Yes? Jane dies, so Jane's body leaves Mary's mind. But Mary's mind remains intact. In fact, Jane's body doesn't leave Mary's mind because there's nothing outside. It cannot go outside Mary's mind. It just reverts to Mary's mind, ceases being localized. It just goes back to Mary's mind. Mm-hmm. So looking at Jane's body in the dream, Jane's body is what the localization of Mary's mind looks like from a second-person point of view. So somebody looking across the streets of Paris and seeing Jane, what they are really seeing is a localization of Mary's mind. But that localization appears to them as a body. So what I'm looking at now is a localization of consciousness. From your perspective, the localization of consciousness is experienced as your internal experience. Thoughts, feelings, sensations. But when I look at this localization of consciousness, I don't see thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. I see a physical body. So your physical body is what the localization of consciousness looks like from this perspective. Now, for me, I'm not seeing my physical body. What am I experiencing? Thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. But none of you are experiencing my thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. When you look at this bundle of thinking, sensing, and perceiving, you see my physical body. My physical body is what this bundle of thinking, sensing, and perceiving looks like from your localized perspectives. So when this bundle of thinking and sensing and perceiving comes to an end and expands back into consciousness, the corresponding image of that activity dissolves, dies.